What's good, beautiful people? It's your homie DJ Be Easy giving you another episode of the Mix Up Podcast. And we got a very special guest in the studio right now, Yolanda Ortiz. And her organization is CCFSA. And honestly, what does CCFSA mean or stands for?
Well, CCFSA is an acronym for the Connecticut Council of Family Service Agencies.
Okay.
So the council is made up, you could think of the council as a network, and it has about 14 partner agencies underneath it. So CCFSA is like the umbrella.
Yes.
And all of the organizations underneath them are family service agencies, and they're all located throughout the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
So today, I'm here to talk about the VOCA program, which is one of the programs that CCFSA administers.
Okay.
And when I say that we administer it, we fund it. And
do a close up on there real quick. Yeah, right
program, there. And the organizations in our network, they help to make sure that the services are dispersed throughout the state.
Nice.
So we have VOCA, Victims of Crime, case management program, and we have VOCA case managers that are located throughout the state to help anyone who's ever been a victim of a crime.
So when you talk about a victim of a crime, let's name a couple crimes that people could become victim of.
So, usually when you think of someone being a victim of a crime, you usually think of those typical crimes, domestic violence, maybe car break-in, assault. But there's a number of crimes that fall under that. And I'll just give you an example. We're talking about elder abuse, neglect. That is a crime. We're talking about stalking,
of course,
identity theft.
That's a big one, especially now in 2021.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're talking about bullying and things of that nature.
When you say bullying, beyond just high school, college, but like on the workforce.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, people can get bullied at any age. I mean, when you think about bullying, people automatically think of school-age children. Yeah. But you could be bullied by your next-door neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? So our case managers are here to help victims kind of cross over and become survivors. And how do we do that? We help them by connecting them to different resources.
Yes.
Maybe they need to get connected to a clinician to kind of address traumas that they had many years ago. Because I want to talk about the crime. The crime doesn't necessarily have to have happened yesterday. It could have happened 30 years ago. You have people who have been victims who were sexually assaulted when they were children, and they start to kind of talk about it now as an adult. And so we can help those individuals link to services to support them. During that time, people may have also issues with housing or employment. So our case managers don't just help them with the victim portion of it. It's a holistic approach. So they can possibly help them link to housing programs, helping with their utilities, things of that nature. Another important aspect of the program is this program is funded through the Office of Victim Services. And through the Office of Victim Services, there is compensation available to victims for expenses related to the crime. So
give me an example. Like, let's just say something happened 10 years ago. It's causing trauma, like to the point where I can't communicate at work properly because I'm still thinking about this one situation. So they could actually get financial compensation from that.
Well, the way that they would get compensation is, let's say that they start going to therapy. And let's say that their health insurance only covers a certain amount of the therapy. They can get compensation for the monies that they have to pay out of pocket. Let's say that there was a crime cleanup because there was a murder that happened in the house, and now the entire house has to be a crime cleanup. They may be reimbursed for expenses related to the cleanup of the crime. Let's say we're talking about a domestic violence situation where maybe all the locks have to be changed now at the home.
Trust issues and just
so those are
safety
expenses.
issues.
Exactly.
Wow.
So those are expenses that may be reimbursed. And so there's an application. It's called the OVS application. And so our case managers can assist individuals to complete that application, submit it to OVS, and hopefully get some of those expenses reimbursed.
So how people could like communicate with you to like get all the, you know, proper links and whatnot, and also I'm assuming you guys also have, you know, certain social medias besides just the website and whatnot.
Right. So you can find us on Facebook.
Okay.
Just look for the Connecticut Council of Family Service Agency information on Facebook.
Okay.
We're also on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
If someone would like to get in contact with us to get information and get connected with a VOCA case manager, they can call the 1-800-505-9000 number. That number actually comes directly to me, and I would get their information and connect them to a case manager.
So you're like the main manager there, or what's the main position there now?
I'm one of the regional coordinators for the program. So there's two of us. So I cover the southern part of the state, and then my coworker covers the rest of the state.
Wow.
And what's really...
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It really, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And what's really great about this program, because there's a lot of organizations that have VOCA funding, but they're not statewide. So we're statewide. We have case managers throughout the state, and we will meet the client where they're at. We will do home visits. If we have to meet you at a Dunkin' Donuts, if we have to meet you at the library, we will meet the client where they are at. So that kind of sets us apart from the other organizations out there.
And also with everything going on with certain restrictions and whatnot, do you have to do like a little bit more Zoom meetings and like Skype and
we have
FaceTime and all that?
Absolutely. We have some clients that the case managers do Zoom meetings with, their appointments via Zoom. But if they have to meet them out in the community, they take the precautions to make sure that everyone is safe.
Nice.
So it's a fantastic program. It goes underutilized. I know that there's a lot of people out there that's been a victim of a crime some way or another, and there's help out there, and we're here to help.
Any testimonies you can, you know, speak on from seeing people change it, you know, changing it in their lives and whatnot?
Actually, there was a case manager that was working with a woman who was fleeing her abuser from the state of Washington.
Are you serious?
She ended up here in Connecticut with her 3 children.
Wow.
And the case manager was able to help her secure an apartment, help with security deposit in the first month's rent, and even help her find a job. So this is someone who relocated cross country
just to get away.
Their abuser, and within a month. And I'm not saying that always happens. You know, sometimes there's baby steps to different goals, but within a month we were able to help this woman and her children. So that's fantastic.
I wish one of my friends, like from 3 years ago, knew about this program, because she went through, you know, a crazy domestic situation where she had to leave West Hartford and like go to the outskirts of Bristol, like, you know, basically the Bristol Southampton line, just to get away. But the thing is, one of her friends is still mutual friends with her ex, and you know, just gave the ex the address of all things, breaking a code of friendship and whatnot. So now the young lady lives in Nevada. So I wish she would have knew about this program. You know. So it's
anyway,
crazy.
It's here. It's here in Connecticut. And again, if anyone needs any additional information, or if you're interested in the program, please call 1-800-505-9000.
Wow. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I didn't realize, like, I know this now, since things open up communication-wise and people are more open about talking about their traumas and whatnot, I'm learning more. And even what you were talking about with, like, just not paying attention to, you know, your elderly family and whatnot. I didn't know that was a crime.
Yeah.
I just saw that you're just being a bad, like, kid or whatever.
Yeah, elder abuse is a crime. Actually, you can report elder abuse just like you can report child abuse.
Yeah.
And so if you ever see like a senior who you believe is being mistreated, you should call. Another thing that is rampant here in Connecticut is human trafficking.
That honestly, this has been going on since the beginning of time. And the thing is, the more you try to vocalize that with certain people just be like, That's not it's still happening. They actually did a documentary of. I'm not going to call out any like streets in Newington or whatever, but there's a big old street in Newington that truck drivers go to, and they actually did a documentary on that big old street in Newington that truck drivers go to.
Yeah, it's really sad. And then you see it all the time. Girls, young girls disappearing, and a lot of times they're ending up being sex trafficked. The youngest child to be sex trafficked in the state of Connecticut was 2 years old. So this is really a serious situation, and Connecticut is right in the middle of Boston and New York, and a lot of the sex trafficking and human trafficking is happening right underneath our nose in our neighborhoods. In our own neighborhoods. I was just watching a court case. It was a live court case. Actually, there's a gentleman who was convicted of sex trafficking here in Hartford. He was from the North End, and he's, I think, been doing maybe about 10 years, and he's actually trying to get out, and he's not going to get out. But there were victims that were present on the Zoom. It was live, saying that, they're so severely traumatized from the years of being trafficked. Because, when these individuals find these young people, they groom them. They kind of groom them. They prep them. The girls don't even know, and even boys don't even know what is happening, that they're being groomed to be trafficked. And a lot of girls, they get into it, and they don't even know what's happening to them until they're on drugs. And
exactly, because like it could just be like, hey, I want to run away from my parents. My parents don't understand me, and then some older dude is just like, hey, well, assuming it's an older dude, but a lot of times it is an older dude, and just like, hey, you want to?
Well, actually, that's a misconception. 40% of the Johns are actually females.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really a misconception, and that's why they don't call them pimps and Johns anymore, because a lot of them are females, because they're able to manipulate young people, and these young girls have no clue that they're being groomed by someone who they're looking at as a mother figure.
They're just thinking like, oh, she's teaching me a way so I can make more money and da-da-da. But the thing is like, what's the intentions? What's behind all of that? What's going on? And then how come like there's always, hey, take this drug so you escape your reality and all that? Because if it's a situation where somebody's giving you advice and it's just advice, cool. But if it's advice mixed in with drugs, that's you gotta think about it. So you made a good point. And
if there's anyone out there that's watching today, and if you feel like you're in that situation, that you're being trafficked and you need help, we can help you. Like, there's help out there. Like, don't feel like you're alone and there's no hope. We can help you, and we also provide linkage to organizations that can help relocate people.
Wow. Thank you for this information, because there's a lot of stuff that, wow. I don't want to give Netflix any more glory that they already have, whatever. But that Jeffrey story and whatnot, and I watched 2 of the parts, and I'm like, wow.
And these people who are part of this whole sex trafficking ring, they hide behind a lot of apps. So you got to be careful with young people. With TikTok, with Roblox, with all kind of apps, you have these people who are acting as if they're children to befriend other young people, and come to find out they're not children. They're traffickers that are hiding behind numerous apps out there.
Yeah. Damn. This is more than food for thought. This is like, this has been a day.
The majority of the young people who are trafficked in the state of Connecticut, first is African American girls, then the Hispanic girls, and white and Asian. And so a lot of our girls of color are being trapped in the system.
And especially like when for some reason somebody that just goes missing, we're wondering why they're missing now.
I mean, every time I look at Facebook, there's someone has gone missing, a young girl has gone missing. Local.
Guys, our awareness of our community got to get better.
Yeah,
seriously.
And I think we need to be more. Yeah, you're right. We need to be more aware, and we need to open our mouths.
Yes.
We need to stop being quiet when we see something that doesn't
look
seem
right. Yeah.
A friend of mine the other day said they went to the gas station and the car that was parked right next to them, there was a young lady who looked like she was about 19 or 20 sitting in the back seat, and this man who looked like he was like in his 60s, he's the driver, and she said something to him and he said, "No, not right now." And he thought that it just seemed so odd that this girl would be sitting in the back seat. And I said, you should have looked at her when he went into the store and maybe said, "Hey, are you okay?" Because she could possibly be being trafficked.
Yeah. Because honestly, we gotta, because a lot of times we love, like, hey, we're gonna mind our damn business because it's not our situation. But the thing is, there's some times where if the vibe doesn't feel right, if the energy doesn't feel right, you just look and you just like look close and just be like, okay, is this acceptable? Yeah. Seriously, right. You know, as a community, as people, more than just being, you know, because we're always thinking about ourselves, our family, but our community is an extension. And sometimes we got to think about people that's not even thinking about themselves.
Right.
So this is a lot, but it needs to be said.
Yeah,
absolutely. It needs to be said.
Absolutely.
Let everybody know the website one more time and how they can contact you and everything.
Sure. So I am from the Connecticut Council of Family Service Agencies, otherwise known as CCFSA.
Yes.
And if you'd like to get in contact with me or someone else at CCFSA, please call 1-800-505-9000. We are the Victims of Crime Case Management Program, and we can help you go from victim to survivor.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
God's blessings to you. We'll be back next week. And guys, if something doesn't look right, speak about it. Say something. Communicate with somebody that, hey, there's a certain situation that does not look right now. So God blessings to you guys, and we'll be back next week. Thank you again, Yolanda.